Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Doujinshi, and welcome back to another episode of Hentai Reviews, the only series with a beautiful amount of, well, gamers in it. And if that doesn't tip you off to the last episode, yes, we are going to be reviewing episode 2 of a series that has been fervently requested by a single member of the community. And if you are watching this, thank you, man. Could not say thank you enough. This is quality. So, I'm going to go ahead and continue into this because this may be a little bit more than I was expecting. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. You see, today we're going to be reviewing episode 2 of, and if you forgive my information for this one, because, dear God, long names are hard and I am incredibly white. So, go ahead and laugh as I butcher this. Imaizumin 𝕳𝖊𝖓𝖙𝖎𝖎 wa Douyara gal no Tamariba ni Natteru Rashii 2. Damn, that's a long name, and I feel good about successfully doing that one a second time, because I'm a man. A man doesn't mean that you are a male. Man means you are able to fight bears. And saying that has proven that I could fist fight a bear if I wanted to. Say that perfectly in one go, and you can fist fight bears as well. You see, this episode runs at 19 minutes and 21 seconds and is done by our friends over at Bunny Walker with a notable amount of, let's go ahead and say 10 categories, notable of which is something I like to call the job fair, which is pretty much, there's a whole bunch of different jobs available and they're all done by very special women. The harem, because if you're going to have a job fair, you might as well have a ton of people working there. And cream, because what goes better with coffee than a nice pie full of cream? That being said, let's go ahead and get into this episode, because, damn. You see, this episode starts out with the main character back in his flat where all the different girls like to hang out, because his cream shake brings all the girls to the apartment, and damn right, it's thick as hell. So, as they all sort of sit around, not playing video games, because being a gamer only takes up so long. I'm going to go ahead and stop with the gamer jokes, because I did that last episode, and I kind of don't want to reuse it, but then I kind of do because I'm lazy, but I really don't because I'm a man. As they're kind of motivating him, like, come on, do 5 push-ups. I know we had a sex tape to prove that you were a man to your parents, but like, push-ups are kind of essential. If you're going to get those abs that people want to lick the sweat off of, you got to start small. Even though this is going to be mostly shoulders and biceps for the whole thing. So, let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and get these gains, fella. So, he doesn't get all 5 of them. He only gets 3 because he was motivated to do all 5, because if he does, he gets a kiss. Which, like, dude, your mouth has been inside of a lot more than just their mouths. But, still motivation nonetheless. He fails, but unfortunately for them, he is incredibly convincing, which turns into fortunately for everyone, because 2 girls and him all start making out immediately, because some people are just too charismatic, like the gamers. You see, they start making out, and in the middle of their whole makeout session, which lasts for long enough to count as its own scene, but I'm not going to because it is just a little too clothed and not enough dry humpy, so I'm going to go ahead and not count it there. That being said, the 3rd girl, who was absent most of this time, walks in and says, dudes, we got tickets to a anime plot point, otherwise known as a hot spring, because this is anime. You're going to get a hot spring somewhere, whether you like it or not. So, they bring in the areas for the hot spring. They wake up early in the morning to head straight off to get there as soon as possible and enjoy the libations that come from a very, very steamy area. But instead, they make their way to the room and immediately start steaming over who's going to get that main character dick. So naturally, they start fighting over him immediately, which leads into scene number 1. Hold on to your asses. Scene number 1 starts at 3 minutes and 25 seconds and goes all the way to 14 minutes and 45 seconds. That is 11 minutes and 20 seconds of just scene. What the hell? I gotta go through my old videos and see if I can find, like, Was there anything else that's that long? The only thing longer than that scene is my appreciation for like, girls with abs and femboys. Yes, that is what I call my dick, appreciation. So, this is just a damn near record if I've ever seen one, but I'm not gonna declare it. I may do a video on that. That being said, a lot goes on in this, because through this whole scene, there are 3 different scene changes, and oh my god, so much, like, they literally just keep switching from place to place to place. But the reason I count this as one full scene is because I feel like there should be a rule where if there's less than 15 seconds in between each scene, you don't count it as a stop. Because that's like somebody standing up, not putting on their clothes, walking to the bathroom, and then there's a girl in there already, just spread eagle, ready for you to go. And I feel like that's not really, like, slowing down. That's more like, let me go ahead and pick up another target, and then he just strolls over to the next one, and damn. Boys got games. Because you can't spell game without ending it with gamer. Gamer. I fell into this joke a while ago, and I'm going to keep using it until I really get tired, which I am, so I'm going to see if I can stop, but gamer power is too strong, so I might not. You see, in this whole scene, not only does the scene change 3 different times, there is something that I want to talk about when I'm going to do the review for it. And I guess after the 11 minutes and 20 seconds that goes on for this, the last thing that really happens is my boy passes out. Because you can stay up all night playing Halo with your friends, but when you're up there thrusting and busting every second of the day, and not even going to the hot spring. I don't even remember if they were in the hot spring. I think he just stayed in the hotel room and, like, busted some guts up in their nuts. I don't even know where that sentence was going, but it happened. Yeah, through the whole thing, he just passes out at the very end because they took his soul with him. And as soon as he passes out, one of the girls goes up and they're like, "Aw, he's all tuckered out." And then gives him a kiss, and then the scene ends with the episode itself, which, god damn, if there's a 3rd episode I want, it's this one. And, you know, Amber Hunter as well. But that one, I think Amber Hunter a little bit more than this one, because this one had, like, let's just go ahead and get into it. Amber Hunter was consistent twice, where this one kind of fell off, but not really. So let's go ahead and get into it. You see, for the review, let's go ahead and talk about the animation. The animation is 9 out of 10. The reason I say it's a 9 out of 10 rather than a 10 out of 10 is because a lot of the times in the last episode, there wasn't a ton of looping in it, but in this episode, there was. There was a good amount of looping, which if you're not familiar with what looping is when, or at least it's my term for it, when a scene will use stuff like this popular thing, where it'll just reuse the same animation several times in a small loop to give the illusion of like artificially inflating the amount. Normally, it would be like one solid movement going like that, rather than several times. The whole point in this, the reason I bring this up specifically in this episode, when it's happened in a few other ones that I don't really care to mention at the moment, is because the art and animation in these loops is phenomenal. Like, it is really good for this series. Not necessarily as good as the last episode, but damn if this doesn't hold up in a little bit of a way. The scene in this is so long that the looping, I feel like, was 100% necessary for how it was used. So, there's no really problems with the animation, it's just the times that it's used more often than not. Animation, beautiful. The amount of times they reused it, I wish they hadn't, and I wish they had gone with more, but then again, budget is budget, and you gotta use it somewhere. So, let's go ahead and get into the story and characters. Story and characters, sadly, is not as charming this time around. It was more in that there was a sense of a joke about, like, how they were all, like, just playing video games, hanging out, and then they just went hog wild with, like, My parents didn't think I was a man. They're like, we'll prove him. And then they just had fun with the downright mature rated way of stating that, and they just went along with it. Now I'm going to give these story and characters a 6, because instead of doing their whole, like, typical porno reason for doing it, they stick with something that was like, they were inherently horny in the beginning with him just trying to do a push-up, which I feel like, I don't know why that's not that great, and then moving it over to the classic, where the anime thing, where they're in a hot spring, which I wish they had, like, put a little bit more into it. Like, maybe they were trying to, like, build up to a second sex tape. But unfortunately, they didn't. Which it sucks, but, like, I understand you can't keep up, like, the dumb quality that much. I feel like this is just a switch over from the character. I'm sorry for the low rating for it, but unfortunately, this is my opinion. And if you have a different one, completely okay. This is a 6 out of 10 when it comes to stories and characters. Not great, but a good, very large step down from the original. Which, the original was a 9 out of 10, and damn, I don't know. But, let's go ahead and get into what we're all really here for. The plot. And the plot is a 10 out of 10. I feel like giving it 1 point per minute that's on screen is still not enough, because they would have to do 1 minute and 5.9 second. No, it'd be 1 minute and 6 seconds, 6.9999 second. I don't know. I may be getting the math wrong, but this goes on for so long, has so many different areas that it takes place in, with the amazing quality of the animation that goes along with the unfortunate looping problem that's used so often, that there's no real way of saying that this isn't a 10 out of 10. There is no point in this where you can click the video and there isn't something worth using in this sentence. And there's also not really any way of saying that this isn't great. That it feels like you're jumping into something that is taking its time, but also moving as well. This is pretty much hop in, any place to start. Great scene, great length of scene, and just great scene overall. I don't know if I repeated that, but I'm going to say it again for the pure emphasis of this. I was going to get one of the letters right eventually. And yeah, that's it. The overall score for this is an 8 out of 10. And it's an 8 out of 10 for the fact that this is a sequel. Sequels don't always live up to their predecessors. Very rarely. But this is one that I feel like couldn't live up to its predecessor, if it tried. And I'm sad to say that this is lower, but if it didn't put up a fight to be almost as good, damn. Respect to this episode 100% for putting up that good fight. And I'm going to edit you there. Yeah, 8 out of 10 would strongly recommend if you are any fan of this series or any fan of just this medium in general. Strong recommend, even an award, if I do end up getting all the different numbers right. And sheesh, thank you. And let's go ahead and end it there. Thank y'all for being here. This has been, once again, so much fun to do all these sorts of series, this research, these scriptings, and then getting up in this admittedly cheap getup. And yes, this is the same shirt from the last episode, because I'm filming these in the same day, and I'm trying to get a backlog going, because unfortunately, when you take a day off, then you end up losing time to make these sorts of things. And I don't get paid for this, so I might as well have fun. That being said, yeah, this was great. Thank you everybody who subscribed. I'm still at 182 subscribers as of the last time I checked this, and I am grateful to each and every one of you. You guys are so near and dear to my heart that it is mind-blowing that we are even close to 200. Seriously, if a few more people subscribe, 200 subs, which I never thought I would get to 10, because I don't have 10 friends. That being said, yeah, thank you all so much, and let's go ahead and get into the closing bits. So, yeah, remember, Have a nice day. Don't be a dick. There's too many of them. And wash your fucking hands. I have been the Doctor. Peace.